You said something instrumental in your speech, and you said Ukrainian American, Israeli American, Palestinian American, Ambazonian American. What is the difference? And I think it's a question that pricks the consciences. That was a rhetorical question, and I think it's a question that pricks the consciences of those in authority, where we have seen double standard on full scale when it comes to our situation, the global push that has been provoked by the plight of three of our own that have been in confinement for over 2 years without proper, just legal process. The global push, I understand that last week you sent a letter to the Attorney General of the United States regarding the Kansas City 3. Could you deliberate the key message that you intended to convey in this letter?
I did send my letter to the Attorney General of the Federation of the United States and copied the Secretary of State, Mr. Anthony Blinken. I wanted to draw his attention to the plight of three Amazonian Americans from the states of New York, Minnesota, and Missouri, who are being held behind bars for almost 2 years now, without bail and without trial. They have levied charges of terrorism on them for contributing money to support their families, their communities that are under attack by the Cameroonian state.
You mentioned that the stakeholders or statement who are over this situation might not be aware of our situation or case and the context of it. Do you think that could be the case, or it could just be an oversight?
Before a matter gets to court, it passes through law enforcement agencies who investigate the matters before they take it to the prosecution desk for it to be a case in court. So I don't know at what level the ignorance is of the situation or the decision to ignore the reality, the truth about the matter, because it is either or. It could be that some are ignorant within the judicial apparatus, beginning from the attorney general and to the district attorneys and to the investigative agencies like the FBI or the court itself. I don't know where the ignorance is or the decision to treat this one differently from others.
In your letter to the Attorney General, you also copied the Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken. Can you explain why you felt the importance to include him in this correspondence?
First off, Mr. Blinken is a respected diplomat in the world and the one who is in charge of President Biden's implementation of his foreign policy. I also understood that he has been a very close associate of the president. He has served Mr. Biden. So he's a close associate. He's somebody who really has the ears of the president. So I thought that he should know one thing, how the handling of these three Americans by the American justice system is affecting the way America is perceived on the continent, and especially by Amazonian Americans. And I think that he can ask some questions. I probably get the Attorney General to do some things or talk to the ears of President Biden that I think we need to be perceived for who we are by the Africans, especially by these Americans.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also understand you've shared this letter with several members of Congress who represent the Kansas City 3, including 3 House members and 6 senators. What are you hoping to achieve by engaging these specific members of Congress?
You know, the primary job of senators and congressmen in general is to represent their constituents in Washington. And these three are constituents. They are American and they are constituents of these political leaders. And they represent them in Washington. So I wanted to draw their attention to what is going on if they are not sufficiently aware of the disparity of treatment of these African Americans originating from the state of the Southern Cameroon. I wanted them to know how they have been affected And I also accompanied my letter with short bio. These are professionals par excellence. And I thought that I should involve them and inform them so that they can follow up with my petition to ensure that justice is done to all Americans, their color notwithstanding.
I am very much aware that you have engaged the Amazonian community, especially in the United States of America. What actions are you and the Southern Cameroon's community in the United States, particularly, as well as those back home and in Europe, in Asia, in South America, calling on the Department of Justice to take regarding the Kansas City 3?
Yes, we have engaged our community at large, wherever our people are. Know that this is our existential fight, not just within the confines of the homeland, but everywhere we are, because that's the only place we call home. I've engaged them to add their voices to this call to the U.S. Justice Department and State Department to do the right thing. Also, to show support for this petition.
Aside from the Department of Justice, who else are you and the people of Southern Cameroons working with to engage or engaging in the United States as part of this campaign?
We have engaged, as I said, a handful of organizations and individuals, influential individuals across the globe that are going to lend their voices to our plight before the powers that be. I want to assure you that we are not alone in this, because there are some people who believe that justice must be done and must be seen to be done, and that what is good for one is good for the other before the law. That equality before the law means you are going to be rendered justice irrespective of where you come from, your color, or whatever. So these people are going to lend their voices, and in the days ahead, you will hear them loud and clear.
There is no doubt that you are the most wanted by France and Cameroon as we speak. Now, owing to the current behavior of the judiciary system in the United States vis-a-vis this case, do you sleep at night any day and you feel worried for your safety as you fight for the right to self-determination for your people?
I believe in this country. I believe in the foundation principles of this country. When I was persecuted politically in 2009, I had a choice of going to other countries. I was not a struggling one that just found himself in America. I carefully chose to come to America because I knew that I will be protected in this country because of the law. I've read the history and how the law operates in this country. I had a choice to be elsewhere in Europe. I decided to come to the United States. And I thank God for making it to the shores of the United States and for the freedom that I've enjoyed since 2010.